today I'm going to do a review on the WWE pay-per-view Fastlane 2023. I hope you enjoy, and let me know in the comments if you disagree or agree with anything I've said. Right, so for this match, I really enjoyed it. It was a good 20-minute match. I felt like all the entrances were really well done, as they are with if they weren't competing against each other. But I feel like you don't get bored during this match, which is good. Like I would give this match a solid 4 out of 5. I know a lot of people don't like outside interference a lot of the time. I thought it went well with the match, having them overcome it. Also, leaning into the story. The story was good for this match. It was a good little side quest for Cody Rhodes while he was waiting to finish the story against Roman Reigns. So yeah, that was good. And also, I like how it leaned into the story of Jay and Rhea. Obviously, they're not doing anything with that anymore, but it was a good story. So the match had a good story. It had good competition. So overall, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 for this match of the Judgment Day versus Rhodes and Uso. Right, so for the next match, we got the LWO versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, now known as the Pride. Awful name. But what I liked about the story was, despite what the image shows, Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro, I believe that's their current names, it was their names at one point, got injured the night before. So Rey and Santos didn't have a partner. And for the majority of the match that happened, they didn't have a partner. So I like the uphill battle that the match had for the LWO. And then the best part of the match was Carlito's return, who is a former United States champion, I believe Intercontinental champion and tag team champion. And I like that he returned, mostly because I didn't have a good enough memory to remember Carlito when he was wrestling. So that's one of the main reasons this match was good. But the match I felt was kind of slow paced. And for some matches that would work, I just didn't really think it worked for this one. No, that's the majority of the match. At the end, there was some quick stuff. So I think the end kind of saved the slow pace. But I'll probably give this match a 3.5 out of 5. But nevertheless, it was good to see the LW actually get a win. Right, so this was the only female match to take place, but I don't think that did any discredit to it. It was a really good match that helped elevate Io being in the ring with two former multiple-time world champions and Grand Slam champions. So I think this helped her a lot. It was a good pace, the whole match. I just wish that she wouldn't have had Bayley come out and help her. This was one of those times where I think having no outside interference would have made the win even bigger than it was. But it was a good way to start off Io Sky's reign, and every woman in this match did look very impressive during it. So I'm going to give this match a 4.5 out of 5. Now, since this is the show, not just matches, let's talk about Pat McAfee's segment in his hometown of where Fastlane was taking place. I think it's good that they have people promoting having WrestleMania in different cities, like that John Cena did in London earlier in 2023. And speaking of John Cena, I thought it was good having Pat McAfee introduce him, because John Cena's a GOAT. Let's be honest, 16-time world champion, 5-time United States champion, not an Intercontinental champion, but which is quite unfortunate. But I feel like they should do more of these. Have people go who are from the place they're in, who they don't normally go to too much, going, we should have WrestleMania here. But I don't think they do it often enough. But maybe they'll do it in France. This was probably my favourite match before the main event. I really enjoyed the hot tags during the match, and how they made LA Knight look really strong as a possible contender for Roman Reigns, which was good. But it wasn't just about LA Knight. You got Cena, but he's getting old. They managed to give him some moments where he was able to get lots of offense and look big and energetic. But meanwhile, the Bloodline played a really good story with being the heels in the match. So, despite Jimmy Uso at this point trying to get back into the Bloodline, him and Solo worked really well together. Even if you didn't necessarily like them, you had to respect what they were doing. And also in the background with Paul Heyman, showing movements on what he was on the phone to presumably Roman Reigns about, that was good. But I believe this match was really just to have the next contender, Roman Reigns, look big and strong, which they usually do, but Roman Reigns wasn't at Fastlane. So this was probably my favourite tag match, and before the main event, my favourite match of the show. I am going to give this one a 5 out of 5. Maybe not 5 out of 5, 4.9. Right, so after that match, we had a segment where Damian Priest wanted to cash in because at the beginning of the night, he had lost the tag titles along Balor and wanted to leave the night as champion. I did enjoy this segment. It was a solid segment showing that when Judgment Day are on the same side, they do agree. And also that showing Priest wanted to not rush into it, cashing it in, and do it when he's ready. As if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I do not believe that we actually saw him say that on TV. So I think this was an enjoyable segment, short but sweet. Right, so the main event. Shinsuke versus Seth, last man standing. World Heavyweight title match. In my opinion, the wrong person won in this match. It should have been Shinsuke. He's been in the WWE for over 5 years now and has not had one world title reign, which is shocking. It should have happened in 2018 when he won the Rumble. But nevertheless, Seth did win, and nevertheless, it did show an uphill battle with the storyline of Seth having a really bad back, which kind of just describes a lot of the older population. Don't come at me for that, but it was a good match. I enjoyed the table spots, the ladder spot, and good old mist. I think this match was the best on the show, despite there being 5 matches. I think that is actually saying something because it was a pretty good show. But overall, in retrospect, I am happy that Seth retained, even if it meant Shinsuke not winning, because either Shinsuke would have had a short reign, but they would have given it back to Seth, or we wouldn't have Seth at WrestleMania most likely, competing 2 nights, as he would probably just be teaming with Cody Rhodes. But nevertheless, it was a good match. I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5. Now, the show overall. Fastlane 2023. Now, I know you've heard me rating the matches out of 5, but since this is the whole show, I'm going to rate it out of 10. It had some great championship matches, some great defenses, some great storylines, some great time having new champions, some great rivalries either ending or continuing. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 because I think they could have added more matches, in my opinion. But nevertheless, it was a 2-hour, 50-minute show. And for a 2-hour, 50-minute show, it did knock it out of the park. And it was good to see some returns, some backstage segments. And that's why I'm sticking with 7 out of 10.